We are tracking an environmental crisis in our area. Millions of gallons of raw sewage stirring in the Potomac River. Tomorrow will mark a month since a wastewater pipe sprung a leak and caused this big mess.
DC Water says repairs are underway, but will take several more weeks, and the cleanup could take even longer.
Yeah, so tonight our local leaders are demanding accountability and transparency from DC Water as this situation stirs up a potential political battle with the Trump administration. So Virginia Congressman James Walkinshaw is one of those who signed his name to a letter to the utility company calling for answers. The congressman is here with us tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so what exactly do you want to see from DC Water as they continue to navigate the impact of this crisis?
Well, we obviously want to see a timeline for the repair to ensure that there's no additional spills that take place. But I think the key is we're asking for a detailed cleanup and remediation plan. You know, this is a very significant sewage spill, one of the largest perhaps in American history. The Potomac River is not just a regional treasure, but a national treasure. And we have to ensure that any damage that has been done here, and we know there's been environmental damage, is cleaned up and remediated. That's what we're asking for.
So the Trump administration reiterated today again that local leaders have to ask them for federal help. But the problem is happening on federal land. So how do we get there from here?
Well, I know there's been engagement between DC Water and FEMA, DC Water and the EPA, and I hope that engagement will continue and build. Some of President Trump's comments, quite frankly, have not been productive in terms of getting to a good outcome here to clean up this spill, but I hope that we can have real engagement with both FEMA and the EPA to help move forward here, and I'm certainly committed to facilitating that any way that I can.
Yeah, so what do you tell people who have heard about the spill? They see these images, they're concerned about their health and the drinking water, whether or not it's safe. We have a reviewer saying the messaging is different depending on where you live.
Yeah, well, look, for the folks that I represent in Fairfax, I encourage you to follow Fairfax Water carefully and review the statements on their website. Right now, there doesn't seem to be any impact on the region's drinking water. Our drinking water flows from different sources, but there is important guidance about avoiding contact with the Potomac River right now. So I just encourage folks to follow the guidance of their local water authority. For my constituents here in Fairfax, that's Fairfax Water.
Right now, a lot of talk is that we don't know the exact total for what this crisis is going to cost us, but we're learning that it could be passed on to DC Water ratepayers. Is it fair that ratepayers saddle the burden of something they had nothing to do with?
Well, this particular stretch of the Potomac interceptor has been slated for replacement and improvement by DC Water. They had already begun planning and budgeting for that. I think there's a very open and fair question about what the remediation, the cleanup here will cost and who will bear those costs. I certainly don't want to see that passed along to ratepayers in our region. I'm hopeful and will certainly be pushing for the federal government to play a constructive role here, as the federal government has in similar situations across the country for many decades.
All right, Representative James Walkinshaw, Congressman from Virginia, thank you so much for your time.